Three friends, Kojiro, Musashi, and Sugumi, travel to the ocean. As they get there, one of them, Musashi, is amazed by the view and calls his friends to check. They aim to find information about Kojiro's father, as they have met a man who tells them they will find out about Kojiro's father at Usuji clan. As they get there, they see several ships, but they do not know which of them belongs to the Usuji clan. They see the same symbols on the ships and figure it all belongs to the same clan. As they watch in awe, they meet Usuji's Buchi, a man named Neo, and they ask to meet Usuji, but the man tells them that they do not have the right to meet him at the moment. The friends ask why, and they are told that Usuji is preparing for a battle and doesn't have the time to meet with low-ranked Buchi. It turns out that Usuji has called for an alliance with other warriors, and the alliance is to meet at Harima. At this point, Neo asks them which clans they are from, and says he has never heard of their clan. When they figure out that they are strangers, Neo commands that they should be killed. Musashi brings out his sword to fight, but the warrior hits him down with one kick. It's game over for the friend, but unfortunately a distraction takes away the attention and a helicopter arrives. As it touches down, everyone bows. The helicopter contains the head of Usuji's family, Kitetsu Mount, and Musashi wonders who it is. However, as the person steps down, it turns out it's someone he knows, a warrior he has once fought against, Takeda Naotora. He sees it as a way out for them. He goes to meet Takeda, but Takeda asks him who he is. Takeda asks he doesn't know or recognize him, which makes Musashi crazy. Takeda's band is the strongest band in the whole of Hinomoto, and he is one of the strongest people in that city. A few seconds later, Takeda acknowledges that he's joking and knows Musashi. However, Neo tells Takeda that they are about to execute the strangers, as it's an established law that strangers aren't allowed in their city. Still, Takeda says the friends aren't strangers but his warriors. Takeda goes to meet Uesugi. As they meet, Neo tells Uesugi about the visitors, and Uesugi commands that they kill them. However, Takeda asks if Uesugi has no tolerance for strangers, and says the strangers are his friends, so Uesugi changes his command. He informs Takeda that his war is a great one, and he believes Takeda will help him. For their war, they are to defeat and destroy the Kishin of Owaji. Takeda acknowledges that the war will be brutal, but he accepts to join. At the island of Owaji, Lord Orochi bows to the Kishin of Owaji, and some of the people watch him. On the other hand, Musashi and his friends travel along with Green Blade Takeda Bushi Vice Captain Yamamoto Shunrai, who asks them why they are hell-bent on meeting Uesugi. They explain to her that they received a letter with the stamp of Uesugi as regards to the location of Kojiro's father, and they need more information. Another band member, Sanada Aoshi, who is with them, is angry that he is removed from the team fighting the war to escort some crazy people. They tell him that they will also get involved with the war, so they will find access to Uesugi, but Sanada warns them otherwise. They inform them that they are about to fight the Green Kishin, a great serpent, the greatest ever lived offspring of the Onai Black Serpent, but the greatest of the offspring. And their technique for fighting will be to defeat the smaller part of the snake, as it feeds on what its smaller part feeds on. However, it is easier said than done, as no one has ever defeated that serpent for about 150 years. Taking the band members' advice, they decide to stay away from the war and find their information. So as they get to the castle, Musashi uses Sugumi's power to jump over it. On the castle roof, he looks at the city happily. Someone speaks to him. He doesn't know the person talking to him is the Uesugi, and he talks to the person about being a member of the Bushi and protecting the Bushi from the fight. Unfortunately, Neo arrives. Neo recognizes him and tells Uesugi that Musashi isn't a member of the Bushi. Uesugi, who hates strangers, asks that Musashi and his friends should be taken to the barracks. Despite how bad their plan is going, Musashi and his friends are still determined to find Kojiro's father. They pledge with each other until someone covers their faces with clothes. The person separates Kojiro and Sugumi from Musashi, and Musashi finds himself within a crowd of some strange bands. Using his special skills, he figures the bands do not have a love for each other, and they do not know each other. He attempts to get lost in the crowd with them until someone talks about finding a leader. The two top bands there, the Amako and the Shimazu band, bring out their leaders, Amako Hisami and Shimazu Akiro, respectively. A fight starts between the two bands as they argue about who deserves to be the leader. During the argument, a lady on the veil comes to touch Musashi. It turns out to be someone he knows, Michiru. Michiru tells him about how brutal the war will be and fears for him. Michiru's friends talk, and they say the two band leaders are fighting about who will be the group's head, because they know the group head has the privilege of getting closer to Usuji. As Musashi hears this, he volunteers to be a band leader too. They start a duel, and the two other leaders gang up to fight against him. However, Shimazu is stronger than all of them. Shimazu hits Musashi with a strong fist, and he throws Musashi away from the floor. This gets him angry, but Shimazu goes to the next person, Amako. Shimazu hits Amako repeatedly, but Amako refuses to give up because he wants to fight for his retainer. However, Musashi stands up and walks up to the fighters. He stretches a hand of friendship towards Shimazu, but he doesn't accept it. He stretches it towards Amako, who agrees with the hand of friendship, and they applaud each other. They try to make friends with Shimazu, but he tells them that they are just cowards, and he isn't interested in their friendship. He holds both of them by their collar. He tells them that they are weaklings who refuse to lose face after losing and decide to form a non-existing love. He throws them away and informs the band that he is the commanding leader and they must obey him. He goes to attend the meeting with Usuji. He comes to inform them that they must accept his rules and laws. However, Musashi talks. He asks why Shimazu thinks he can keep commanding them, and asks his subordinates to fight back, but everyone goes with Shimazu. For their next team meeting, he tries to get his teammates against Shimazu, but he loses again. As he walks away, he meets Noguchi, another bushi peeling potato. They see Neo, and he wonders how Neo is leading a team despite his small stature. They tail Neo to his office and see him as he makes plans ahead of the fight. At Usuji's office, the ministers ask the tactician Kuroko about the plan for the first, and they find out that Neo's team will be the first to fight the battle. The ministers wonder if Neo is as effective as people think. Also at Neo's office, he tells Musashi that Musashi will probably be the first to die in the fight. As Musashi goes out angrily, some lesser Onis arrive. He goes to fight them, but his sword can't even defeat the Onis. He is about to get swallowed, but Neo arrives. It has been said that Neo is so strong that if you have never seen him fight, you wouldn't believe it. He single-handedly defeats about 4 Onis. The other Onis arrive in a scattered manner. He arranges them himself and starts to fight. Shimazu comes with his squad. They reunite in holding the fort while Shimazu goes forth to fight. At this point, Musashi realizes that to kill an Oni, it takes teamwork. And this is why his other teammates have, but he lacks. He watches as they all fight together. Usuji calls Takeda and informs him that they have found the obsidian goddess. The bad news is that their opponents, the Black Dogs, have also found it. He tells Takeda that the Black Dogs have sent a spy into their midst to find the obsidian goddess. But a member of their team, Kuroko, has gone in search of the spy and the goddess, so when they see the spy, they will find their way to Awari. On the other hand, Musashi, who is embarrassed by the fact that he doesn't even know how to fight like a bushi and has been proud for nothing, leaves his team and goes to cry. His friend Michiru starts looking for him and Shimazu laughs that he has probably run away. Amako, who needs to make Musashi feel better, goes to find him. He meets Musashi, and Musashi is thinking about how to return to his team. Amako tells him not to feel bad or embarrassed by what has happened, and tells him that he has also been embarrassed in such ways too. Amako encourages him that what has happened doesn't define him and he should move past it. He tells him that every warrior has a reason to fight. Musashi asks what's Amako's reason for fighting. Amako says it's because the Oni took over his kingdom when they arrived, and he wishes to kill the Onis, to revenge for what they had done to his kingdom. He asks Musashi what's his reason for fighting, but Musashi doesn't have a worthwhile cause. Also, it turns out that Michiru is the princess of Amariland, and she is a spy sent to find the obsidian goddess. Her father finds out that Musashi is the reincarnated version of the goddess. He wonders why their goddess will host in such a body. He calls his daughter Michiru and tells her to kill the host of their goddess and bring the spirit back before the Bushi find out the goddess is in their team. He tells her that when she finds the goddess, her stone will let her know. Musashi returns to the team. Amako trains him on how to connect to energy blades. And while he trains, Michiru looks at Musashi and wonders why she must kill him. She remembers the first day they met and how he saved her. Musashi cannot connect his blades with Amako, so he asks Michiru to help him. He connects with her, and their stone aligns just as Michiru's father has prophesied. Kuroko saves them, and she tells Usuji that Michiru is suspected of being a spy. They arrest Musashi, so Michiru will be forced to act, leading them to her father's fortress. So they hang Musashi to the tree, and Michiru pledges to rescue him. Also, for the battle, Shimazu's team is left out due to Musashi and Michiru. Michiru's father calls a team, and they figure out where the goddess is because they see that some Michiru has connected. He sends Michiru's siblings to retrieve the goddess and Michiru. Meanwhile, Michiru goes to where Musashi is hanged to save him. Also, Shimazu arrives angrily to ask Musashi what he knows so they can go for the battle. The Black Dog clan arrives with their onai, and to the human shock, they discover the dogs and speak. They speak and acknowledge Michiru as their sibling. Musashi is amazed as Michiru doesn't have horns. Suddenly, Michiru grows her horns. She confesses that she was told to kill Musashi by her father, and she wishes to impress her father. One of her siblings, Minani, attacks Michiru when they find out that she is in love with Musashi, and she plans to betray them. However, Musashi cuts off Minani's hands and escapes with Michiru. They attack them and cut off Michiru's horns. She's almost dead, and she's bleeding. Usuji, Neo, and Kuroko arrive. Kuroko saves Michiru from dying, and when Musashi asks her why, she says she has found out one of them is the goddess, but she still doesn't tell them this. Michiru's father asks his daughters to kill Michiru and eat her. Musashi is shocked by this, but the man tells him even the Bushi clan are carnivorous, and they attach their energy blades by sucking each other's energy. He orders his children to kill. However, with the strong yellow blade energy of Usuji, they defeat the Onai. After the battle, Usuji wonders who opened the entrance for the Onais and finds out it's Shiro, and Shiro attacks him. Shiro sheds Usuji's blood around. He comes down and tells the clan members that their head is dead, and he can do whatever he wants with them. Neo and Kuroko, leading the team, connects their energy blades to fight, but the mission is impossible. With Usuji's blade, Shiro has destroyed their connection, and they are all infected. Inukawa, a member of the Obsidian 8, arrives. He asks to join Shiro in the fight, and they go to meet Musashi. They tell him that he is the only important group member and should leave before it's too late. Unable to give up, Neo and Kuroko attempt to keep fighting. Suddenly, the Kishin of Owaji arrives, and one head of about 8 of the serpent comes out and spits blood all over. Musashi finds himself in the heart of Owaji. He sees himself in a place that seems like a cloud and asks where he is. Michiru's father arrives. He tells him he is in the heart of Owaji, and they need to retrieve the obsidian goddess from him, as he is meant to be the one in possession of the goddess. As they attempt to fight, Michiru stands up. She begs her father and says that if she kills Musashi, she won't be able to laugh and smile with him again. She asks for an opportunity to save Musashi and still bring out the goddess. Her father pretends to hear her pleas and goes near her. He hugs her and attempts to attack her, but Musashi kicks him. He fries her, and when he wakes her back, she has no memory of herself. Musashi and her father start a fight. She supports her father until she gets a strange memory and attacks her father. On Earth, Shiro and Inukawa defeat all the members of the Usuji clan. Takeda arrives to fight Shiro, and Inukawa leaves with Musashi, returning to the Earth. Neo tells Musashi that he needs the help of the goddess inside of him for them to fight and defeat the Black Dogs. On their way to the goddess temple with his friends, Kojiro asks him if it's smart for them to get involved in something so stressful. He reminds his friends that they got to Usuji's clan with the sole aim of finding his father, and he won't like it to be his fault when they all die. However, Neo replies he says he won't force them to help him. He tells Musashi of how his friend stole his sword when the Usuji's clan was planning to execute him, and tells him that his friends have so much love for him. He says his mission in fighting is different, and he wants to release his leader and save his kingdom. Musashi also remembers Michiri. He has seen his aim in fighting, and he tells Kojiro to get rid of his guilt. They go to the goddess shrine, and Neo narrates that the goddess was the first person who came with the energy blade, and she has the power to control every energy blade. So anyone her spirit resides in gets the same powers. So if Musashi can wake up the spirit, they can successfully get control of their blades back. To wake the spirit, he needs to drink the blood of the goddess. He drinks the blood, but nothing changes. On the other hand, Kuroku has her plans, a plan to save the kingdom, bring back Osuji, and get their energy blades back. She starts her plans, and her plans get to the Black Dog's team due to the spies. Also, Musashi goes to meet his team. However, Shimazu and his team have left the group. Before the attack, Kojiro asks Neo if he knows his father, Kanemaki Jisai. Although Neo replies otherwise but says that he can ask Osuji when he arrives. On the day of the attack, Shimazu joins the team back, and Takeda, who says he won't fight, also joins. With the spies' plans, Shiro assumes he has won, destroyed where Takeda's team should have been, and happily goes to Kuroko to announce his win. But Kuroko informs him that he has been played. They know about his spies. He wonders how they know, and she tells him that his spies have no respect for the flag, and they keep stepping on the flag, which gives them out. Suddenly, Neo attacks Shiro. Neo, the strongest red-bladed bushi, goes against Shiro, a yellow-bladed bushi like Osuji. Musashi and his team who are in the vine wonder if they have been set up, but Takeda tells them otherwise. Takeda tells them his responsibility is to fight Inukawa. Neo's responsibility is to fight Shiro, and Musashi's own is to fight and defeat Michiri's father. The mission seems sweet to them all. Neo starts the battle first. When Shiro uses his yellow blade on the first attempt, Neo cuts it. Shiro is shocked because not everyone has the power to cut his blade. He makes his blade tiny and cuts Neo. He injures Neo repeatedly and breaks his bones. It's painful for Neo, but he refuses to give up. He remembers the advice Osuji gives him and how Osuji has told him to protect the team if he is missing. Unable to give up, he uses his sword to break his body and damages the rope. Notwithstanding, Shiro hits him again, and his subordinates come to take the sword from him, but he finds courage and takes it himself. He reminds himself that he is the strongest of the clan, and he defeats Shiro. After Neo's defeat, it's Takeda's turn to fight Inukawa. Inukawa insists that Takeda and his team aren't worth his energy, and he puts them all into a river box. He says they will drown in the river, and it's game over, but Takeda breaks the river. He goes to fight Inukawa, but Inukawa breaks all his attacks. He finds it challenging to figure out Inukawa's blade level, and he eventually finds out Inukawa is of the greater blade level, the white-bladed bushi. Inukawa mocks Takeda. He tells him that he is from the no extra power and no skills blue blade. Until the red blade, the blue edge has no power, and unlike the yellow, he can't control other powers. He laughs at him and tells him he has no opportunity to defeat him. However, Inukawa figures that Takeda can still defend his white blade, and he discovers that Takeda is controlling the powers of the mining ore. It turns out that when the Takeda clan finds out that they are of the blue blade, they get very anxious and scared, but they find an advisor who tells them that they have the powers of the Kishin and can fight like one of them considers the mining ore. Inukawa decides to destroy Takeda once and for all. He builds a fire and attempts to put him inside, but his plans fail when Takeda commands the power of fire and water. He creates a lion of fire and water is in control. Inukawa asks if that's all Takeda has, but Takeda takes him to a closed space. He tells Inukawa that it was Inukawa who killed his brother and that he has been expecting an opportunity to defeat Inukawa. He defeats Inukawa. Michiri's father takes her to the Kishin shrine. He uses her as a sacrifice to couple himself with a snake and become the obsidian god. On the other hand, there is a confusion in Musashi's team as Shimazu wants to selfishly destroy the Kishin because he knows there is a reward. When they all approach Michiru's father, they see what he has become. Shimazu tells the others not to get involved in the fight as he must be the one to defeat the Onai. Shimazu's clan gets ready for the fight. However, as they attempt to connect, they find out that the Onai is destroying their link. They find it difficult to connect, and Shimazu, who is still proud, refuses anyone's help. Musashi refuses to stop trying. He goes to help Shimazu when the Onai is about to defeat him. Instead of saying thank you, Shimazu insists that Musashi should never join the fight again. Despite the humiliation, Musashi continues. He keeps helping and cutting all of Onai's traps so the clan can connect. He continues with it until he gets confronted by the Onai. In the long run, Shimazu cuts off the Onai's horn. Jubilations gets to the headquarters, and they are glad that the horns of the Kishin serpent have been removed. They can win the fight. Even after the fight, Shimazu asks his clan if they are alright, but he refuses to say anything regarding Musashi. Suddenly, the Onai wakes up back. He starts crawling to the top to get to the vine. The members of Shimazu's clan meet Musashi, telling him to work with them again. But Shimazu is still proud. A clash starts between the members of the Shimazu clan as the others tell Shimazu that he doesn't care about them or anyone. He is selfish and he only cares about the pride that comes with it. The members of the clans ask Musashi to join them and lead the team since he is red-bladed like Shimazu. However, as the fight starts, Shimazu stops him and asks to be the one to defeat the Onai. As the argument subsists, a flashback shows that Akiro Shimazu is the younger brother of the clan, and the leadership of the clan should have gone to the eldest brother, Haruisa Shimazu. However, when it is time to pick a sword, Akiro picks the red sword, the strongest sword, which saddles him with the responsibility of leading the house. When his father tells him of this responsibility, he rejects it, as he can't think of the idea of leading a team instead of his brother. He determines that he will get the horn as a reward for the team, which rightfully explains his and his teammates' obsession. This continues, and Haruisa insists he doesn't want Akiro to keep up with the leading, and they do not want Akiro to be their red sword holder. However, Akiro comes with a direct order from the top, asking them to connect with all the other members of the team. With this order, they connect with others, and Akiro leads the team. He enters the Onai, and it swallows him. As his brothers mourn, they figure he is still connected. Musashi gives them their family plague that Akiro has thrown away. They take it to him inside the Onai, and they defeat it. After the war, when the leaders ask who cut off the horn, Akiro gives accolades to all his teammates. Since all the obstacles have been cleared, the next task is bringing Usuji back. And it's the white team, which consists of Kojiro and Tsugumi. Kojiro and Tsugumi enter Kishin's mountain to bring back Usuji. They find out it's heavily guarded, and they talk about whether or not they should give up. They decide that since Usuji is still there, they can do something. Outside the mountain, some people feel like they have been defeated. Unable to accept the death of his friends, Musashi accepts to run into the mountain. But suddenly his friends come out with Usuji. Usuji tells him that he has Michiru inside the mountain. Although Michiru says she can no longer remember Musashi, but she knows there is someone like that in her life, and her heart shakes when she hears his name. Musashi goes to the mountain with his team and it's empty. They find out Michiru's father, Yataro, has emptied the mountain. He comes out and shows them a sword. He tells them he has turned his daughter into a sword, and just like the obsidian sword, the sword Michiru has become is the great sword of the Black Goddess, and it can also control and sever other swords. They attempt to attack Yotaro, but it's mission impossible. Musashi goes inside the sword to call Michiru out. She recognizes him, but she can't change into a human because the black stone that turned her into a sword is inside Yataro, and she should save her. The obsidian princess starts forming herself inside Musashi. This gives Musashi the strength and the ability to destroy Yataro and remove the black stone. He meets with Yataro and Michiri for a few moments before Yataro dies. Michiri talks about how she spent her life trying to fit in with her father, but it turns out to be an impossible mission, and how difficult it is for her to survive like that. She tells Musashi that she will have to disappear with her father, but Yataro tells her she has more lifespan than him. They reconcile before Yataro dies. 2 weeks later, the members of the Bushi clan celebrate their wins, although they know the war isn't ending yet. Kojiro and Tsugumi go to meet Usuji, who tells them the signature of the document belongs to his father, And it seems like Kijiro's father has an alliance with the clan. He tells Kijiro that Musashi has asked Usuji to find Kojiro's father history, and he will do as he has been ordered. Musashi accepts to follow Usuji and fight all the battles, and the Shimazu brothers get a castle and start living their own free will. Michiru also breaks and disappears like her father. Musashi registers himself and his friends under the Bushi clan, and they all anticipate a new fight.